A day after landmark U.S.-Russia talks in Saudi Arabia on the war in Ukraine, Russia targeted the southern Ukrainian city of Odesa, leaving tens of thousands of residents without power and heat amid the freezing cold. It was opportunity enough for Zelensky to turn up his censure of Moscow. Locals speak of multiple drone strikes on residential buildings. Late on Tuesday, close to 500 houses have been damaged. The Odesa mayor said 14 schools, a children's clinic, and several hospitals have also been hit. The Ukrainian president wrote on social media that 160,000 Odesa residents are without heat and electricity. 4 people are reportedly injured, one of them seriously. Significantly, the attack comes in the backdrop of U.S.-Russian talks held in Saudi Arabia. U.S. President Trump has exuded confidence of a peace deal, despite Ukraine itself not being invited to the talks. Russia had claimed that its attacks was on military targets in Ukraine and not civilians or the energy infrastructure that affects them directly. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky lashed out at Russia on social media. Never forget, he said, that Russia is ruled by pathological liars. He said Moscow cannot be trusted and must be pressured. Volodymyr Zelensky also claimed that all U.S. President Donald Trump had actually done was pull Putin out of isolation. He said Trump was living in a disinformation bubble, though he did say he wanted to end the war by the end of the year.
President Trump, with great respect for him as a leader of the people, which we respect very much, the American people who constantly support us, unfortunately, lives in this disinformation space.
The Kremlin, meanwhile, came out with praise for Trump for openly blaming the Ukraine conflict on moves to admit Kyiv into NATO. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov trained his guns on the Biden administration for what he called a pushy line of dragging Ukraine into NATO. Trump's special envoy on Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, reached Kyiv to gather Zelensky's reaction to the meeting in Saudi Arabia. Zelensky himself had postponed a visit to the country. The European Union has agreed on fresh sanctions against Russia. This is the 16th round. They'll be finalized at a meeting of EU foreign ministers on Monday on the 3rd anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. All eyes are now on a Putin-Trump meeting, which the Kremlin says may happen later this month. Moscow has called this the first step towards a resolution, stressing that a peace deal itself could take a long time. For latest, our correspondent Anna Smelik has sent us this report. Take a listen.
Hours after the United States and Russia held talks on Ukraine without Ukraine in participation, the Russian side has launched a fresh wave of attacks targeting the coastal city of Odesa. Now, in these attacks, at least 4 people are confirmed to have been injured in a statement issued by the Governor Office of Odesa. What we also know is that more than 160 plus drones were used in these attacks that had largely targeted the electricity and heating infrastructure of the region. This is again as per the governor, and of the 160 drones that were sent, about 106 of them were indeed intercepted. This is as per the Ukrainian military. Now, here in Kyiv, Keith Kellogg, the Donald Trump's the U.S. Special Advisor on Russia and Ukraine, is here, and he has met President Zelensky. He's here. He has said that they're trying to work out a workable solution when it comes to ending the Ukraine-Russia war. Anas Malik in Kyiv, in Ukraine, for WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.